She-Hulk episode 7, where she gets therapy from the only person in the world who can understand her. A murderous psychopath. We start in Jen's bathroom, a place I never thought I'd see. And never wanted to. I am kind of amazed at just how big her bathroom is, though. It's kind of the size of her living room in her apartment. Although I am considering extending the bathroom in my own house just because of the amount of time I spend in it. Pissing myself laughing at this show. We get a text from Josh acting like a dog on heat. And then we get a picture of Jen where I'm thinking they're just going to pull a Halo on us. Where in the last few episodes they reveal that the entire storyline was just an excuse to make an adult movie. We get a little hint that first he's a lunatic, wants to go around a neighborhood screaming her name, and secondly, he already knows the neighborhood in which she lives. I'd say that was foreshadowing, but I actually predicted this storyline in around episode 2 or 3. So yeah, guys, you made this twist incredibly subtle. Yeah, I never saw them coming. Which, given this show, I'm surprised they didn't put that in as well. Careful. Can you stop grabbing your hair and grab the towel? You're making me nervous. Alright, love, calm down. I said grab the towel, not yourself. Don't mess with it. What if it falls? I didn't even notice before. I was just taking the piss. But they actually do have the towel fall at the end of this scene, just as the door closes to cover everything up. And no, I'm not going to show it on here. That's what Orphan Black's for. But she comes out in her new dress. At this point, I have no idea which ones are magically supersizable and which ones aren't. This is Jen drinking whiskey for breakfast. Look, she's really happy and totally not an alcoholic. And yeah, I might be doing the same thing, but I'm having to watch She-Hulk. I've got an excuse. We see her go in and fetching a big thick book. I can only assume she's got some kind of door she needs wedged open. Oh no, it's actually worse. She's got a magazine on this table. She's going to remove it to replace it with a book because he's coming round and she wants to appear smart. Oh, I missed all these little details the first time I watched it because, quite frankly, I didn't care. But that is gold. I wish I knew what book it was. Better take the perfect selfie in the morning, just woke up, put my makeup on, natural sunlight. That's it, trap him with a photograph under the perfect conditions, so that when he wakes up next to you and sees what reality actually is, he has to chew his own arm off to escape. Then we can all feel miserable about the situation and blame it on him. That'll be fun. But he's here, and what we're about to see next is interesting. But this guy understands Jen. He knows her worth. And that's why he takes her to a food stand by the side of the street. Not only does she have her own chips, but she's got beer and ketchup. I think we're in, lads. He has more than paid Jen's price. Last one got it for just half a bag of chips. This is her second plate. He's funny too. This is the perfect guy, everyone. That's why he apologizes every time he walks up to you. It's so funny. And this is it, the moments where they're back at her house. We're at a door. What are we gonna do? Yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that. No, I mean, we really shouldn't have done that. You gave it to the last one for half a bag of chips, and after everything this guy's done for you, now you're just gonna shake his hand or give him a hug? No, I mean, seriously, she goes in her house. Dude, there's no need to drive carefully in a banged up Fiat Punto. It's not an Aston Martin. You don't have to worry about scratching the paint. The last 500 drivers did that for you. But she's there in the office, and as you'd expect from Jen, she's not paying attention at all to the meeting. She's just on her phone texting. That's why she gets paid the big bucks. Let's face it though, not like she got hired for being a good lawyer in the first place. Idea for a food truck. Fries dipped in milkshake, you in. You physically repulse me. Jen, though, oh yeah, I'd love to indulge in that abomination. Oh, look at me, I look like I was made on a PS2 and I'm so happy. Mind you, I think everyone was happier back when PS2s were around. Better days, better days. But they go out again to some kind of market, and we hit the door. What's gonna happen this time? I'm on the edge of my seat. I mean, with this, it's less boldly go where no man has gone before, and more desperately hope no man has been there recently. But they just stare at each other for way too long before she just walks in and does nothing. No, I mean, she's just walking in and doing nothing. I mean, I don't even know how you compare this to the last guy. Talk about hyperinflation. But she's so happy with herself, presumably because of all the free food. But has she had any kind of self-awareness at all? But she goes out to grab him, because she presumably couldn't count up to one plate of chips, and he's already gone. Let's be honest, it's surprising he stayed around this long. But no, he's back again. What are you doing Thursday? So they go to a drive-in cinema. I'm not even sure these exist over here. And he looks over like, oh, I wonder if there's something I could apologize for again. For what every woman wants. And here we are, back again at the same door. Seriously, it's like Groundhog Day if the groundhog was a rampant whore. Even now, he's like, oh, I'm not going to do anything. My arms are going to be in my side. I don't want this to be a Twitter thread 20 years later. So she has to pull him into the house by force, which is actually very reminiscent of the last guy, who I'm assuming is still crying. But it's Friday. Jen wakes up and finds out he's not there. Oh no, if only someone could have seen this coming in episode 2 or 3. How could anyone have predicted this? Also, you kind of think you'd be used to it by now. But this time I waited for 3 days when I'd never waited any time for the other 499 people. I can't possibly understand what could have gone wrong. So she texts him, that was fun, I can't stop smiling. And I know later in the episode they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. And we can work out why they say that. The weird part is that she agrees with them that this is a weird message to send. Don't get it myself. But she's like, yes, finally, I've met someone, and then they left in the morning. He didn't leave a note or anything. This is definitely going well. But then 30 seconds later, she's like, oh no, he hasn't replied. Maybe I should text him again. I mean, it has been 30 seconds. Nah, we'll just delete that one. So off she goes to work, and we meet Satan herself. This is a supposed best friend who's just desperate to ruin your life and make you miserable by any means possible. Probably far more common than I think.
You didn't tell me you were nominated for Female Lawyer of the Year?
Bit of an odd emphasis on female there, wasn't there? Also, I know there aren't that many of them around, but you are really scraping the bottom of the barrel with this one. Jen got one of her own witnesses to admit on the stand to a federal offense. She does a better job at getting criminals to confess than the police.
Does this mean we get to go to a gala?
I mean, you seem to think you're already going to one with a bow like that around your neck. That or you're getting given away in a free raffle. But Jen doesn't care. She's obsessed with her phone. Oh, if Josh could please reply! Look, I don't care. I don't care if he replies. I don't care if he replies. Please reply! But instead, Satan's got a different idea about what the problem could be.
Are you going down a rabbit hole on that intelligentsia site?
Are you really upset about that site which I told you about, which I shouldn't have done? Oh, I'm so sorry it made you miserable. I'm so sorry. Please tell me about your misery. Oh, I wanted to hear about your misery. Let me revel in your pain.
No, I don't care what a bunch of losers say about me online.
Yeah, you do. You really do. That's why you put them into your own show. Twice in 2 different episodes. Oh, I just don't care about the thoughts and the opinions of these people that I can't shut up about. I don't think about them at all. That's why I mention them all the time.
Can't even say it to my face because they know they get Hulk smashed.
I mean, you've smashed everyone else. Why not them as well, eh? But she says, no, I'm just waiting for a text from Josh, and your phone gets taken off her by Satan herself. What if he texts her back? She might actually be happy. I wouldn't be surprised if her mate was deleting his messages at this point.
That's enough for you. You need to set a limit so that you don't keep checking that during work hours.
I mean, that should be done anyway because you're meant to be working at work. I'm the best female lawyer. I don't do anything because I'm just too busy checking Twitter. Seriously, if she's the best, can you imagine how bad the rest of them are?
It's just the first 12 hours after you slept with someone for the first time. It's just gonna feel icky.
There might be a reason why you feel like that. I just can't work out why when I bang everyone after half a plate of chips, I feel icky for 12 hours. Why could this possibly initiate my biological disgust mechanism? I can't work it out. It's just a mystery. I know. Better ignore it and do that another 500 times. Yes, my own behavior does repulse me, but I think if I work hard enough, I can force through it. This is meant to be the show that every woman can relate to. Who knew that society could get even more horrifying when you heard it from the horse's mouth?
You just gotta coast through it without doing anything stupid.
Just push through the feelings of repulsion and disgust at your own behavior. It'll be fine. Seriously, I might just call her Satan from now on. She literally just wants Jen to be miserable forever. And that's her best friend?
Why can't he just text me back? Why is that so hard?
I don't know. Maybe it's the feelings of repulsion and disgust which are putting him off.
Literally no reason in this day and age to not respond to a text.
Except for if you spend time with her and then she describes the feeling as icky. That's a pretty good reason to me.
He could be in a meeting or at the movies.
Or he could have met you, as he's definitely dodged a bullet there. See what I mean when I say psychopath? That is the look of a psychopath. But of course she's just staring at her phone, willing him into existence. This is perfectly natural and normal behavior. Nothing unhinged about this at all. Everyone relates to this. Look, practicing your downward dog won't make him come back any faster. After all, he can't have been that impressed with it the first time. I'm not sure you've thought this through. Improving your flexibility will only help if you get him back. So for some reason, she starts to watch Miss Piggy on her phone in a prison cell. Quite frankly, I think the symbolism's the best part of the entire episode. I'm saying nothing. But then she breaks out, and Jen's like, oh, I wish I could break out of my prison cell. And somehow they've managed to make Jen look even smaller than they normally do. And of course, she's constantly checking her phone. Then she eats it across the room. Look, I'm not sure Gorilla Glass was invented for a drunken wine aunt's midlife crisis, but seems to do the job. This is literally just a montage of her looking miserable, angry, and sociopathic in every scene. Oh, look! My phone's gone off! Oh no, it wasn't him. It was probably just my best friend coming up with a new way to make me suffer in life. That's why I'm so happy and satisfied. I don't know why you could be so miserable. I mean, you are a lawyer, which is the only thing you ever wanted out of life. I can't imagine what else could possibly be bringing you happiness right now in a land where nothing else does. If only you had some kind of other unique role that you could use to help other people and benefit society, thus providing you with a sense of satisfaction that you can't get at any other aspect of your life. If only that existed, I can imagine how happy she could be. But we hit Sunday Monday. I don't know how many days have passed, and quite frankly, I don't care. The phone's going. Is it Josh? Is it one of the previous studs? Well, I guess beggars can't be choosers. But he turns out to be the parole officer for the Abomination. It turns out that Blonsky's inhibitor has just gone AWOL, and he's meant to check it out, but of course it's the Abomination, and he doesn't want to go on his own, so the She-Hulk would be quite nice backup to have. After all, she is the one that got the murderous psychopath out of prison, so you'd think she'd have some responsibility towards him.
Okay, well, I'll check in with them.
Can't even be bothered to go up there herself. No, I think you should go over there. You're just me, immortal you, against the Abomination. I mean, everything that's happened is my fault in particular, but you know, if he has gone AWOL, then your death is just a price I'm willing to pay. I am very busy. Being miserable, staying in bed and staring at my own phone. But he's like, no, you moron, I wanted you to come with me. You are, after all, a Hulk. It'd be quite helpful. And once again, all of this is your fault.
I figure my chances of staying out of the ICU would be much greater if I had a Hulk there with me.
I mean, personally, I can't fault his logic, although I think they're taking the piss that he is eating cake at the same time, which will contribute to him going to the ICU eventually.
I'm not interrupting your weekend plans, am I?
She doesn't have any weekend plans. I mean, what's she gonna do? Rearrange all the books around the house just so people think she's been reading them? No one will believe that.
No, not at all. Nope, I will see you there.
Well, at least she's honest.
Oh, that's great. This whole place is full of weirdos.
I like that guy. He talks a lot of sense. This whole place is full of weirdos. Of that, mate, we both agree. So, off we go, driving to Blonsky's house. Don't worry, though, we're still checking the phone, because we're desperate and don't want to admit to ourselves that we're a rampant whore. I know what you're thinking. This is the same screenshot. Oh, no. She's just checking her phone every 3 seconds for the next 5 minutes driving along the road. At first, she crashed a car because she was gossiping, and now it's because she can't close her leg. I saw it, so you do too. But they enter Blonsky's mansion and it's massive. Like a full-on country estate. She's already checking her phone and she can't get a signal. Seriously, can you imagine the withdrawal symptoms? She's gonna be coming onto the parole officer for a megabyte of data in a minute.
Thanks again.
Yeah, I mean, if he's violated his parole, his lawyer should probably be here.
Yeah, because that's what everyone's concerned about, not the fact that he's a murderous psychopath abomination monster, and you're She-Hulk who's supposed to defeat him. Who cares about protecting human life when you're the one that put it in jeopardy in the first place, eh? No, don't worry about that. No, I'm a lawyer, remember, not a superhero. No need to care what happens to anyone else. That's fine, apparently.
You're honking your horn at a 10-foot tall lizard monster.
I mean, that's a bit mean. She's only 6'7" in Hulk form, not 10.
So maybe put on your green suit.
Is that meant to be like birthday suit, but a green version of it? Come on, dude.
Put on my green suit.
Yeah, don't worry, love. We agree on something for once.
Get big, jolly green yourself, I don't know.
Jolly Green Yourself might be the best name for it I've ever heard. That might be the first legitimate laugh the show's got out of me.
Hulking out.
I prefer Jolly Green Yourself, to be honest. So they find Blonsky and She-Hulk can barely fit in the room. She's also very still in this scene, because if I don't move, it's far easier to do on the CGI. You may think I didn't skip, but actually time has passed. She just isn't moving. But his inhibitor is malfunctioning because apparently he touched an electric fence and that was enough to break the thing. Nobody thinks that this is suspicious. And also, I don't know why your advanced cutting-edge technology is interrupted by an electric fence, but here we are.
Hey, do you think maybe you might have jostled it, or?
I can't fix it until you tell me what the problem is with it. So he says it's electric fence, and then we get this.
I have recalibrated your inhibitor, and she is good to go.
That's how all technology works. I didn't know how to fix it, and then you said you touched an electric fence, so I just recalibrated it, yes. The electric shock, which completely broke the technology, was just needed to be recalibrated now. What are you going to have next? A syntax error on your time travel machine? I mean, come on! Star Trek used to come out with random nonsense, but at least that sounded like it made sense. Even The Flash comes out with better stuff than this.
So, stay away from the electric fence?
Not just good advice in general. Is there any bit of time throughout all of history someone's gone, yeah, go and hug that electric fence, mate, it'll be fine.
Then I won't have to make any more scary trips.
But he's kind of pleading with him, just, I don't want to make any scary trips up here, please, just stay within the bounds, okay? I don't like coming up here.
Not that I don't like coming up here.
No. And she starts getting angry at him. I can't believe that you're scared. She even rolls her eyes.
Well,
come back.
Oh, I can't believe that he's scared coming to a 10-foot abomination monster who is literally a murderous psychopath that I got out of prison. Oh, I can't believe he's scared of him. What a coward. It's easy for you not to be afraid of him when you're She-Hulk. He would get annihilated the moment he fought him, but you're like, oh, if I can fight him, anyone can. I can't believe everyone's a coward compared to me, the Hulk. But the guy drives off, and she's like, yeah, I knew it'd all be fine. You worked really hard to get out of prison. I thought, you're not going to be stupid enough to go back in, are you? No, absolutely not. I can't imagine a psychopath that would put all that effort into escape prison would do something so stupid as also continue his plans after you got him out of prison. That seems so far-fetched. But Jen's about to get into her car and leave when this strange turn of events happens. A guy gets thrown into her car. This guy gets pulled on ropes in front of a green screen to smack him, misses, and just smacks her car. Then he picks the other guy up and utterly destroys her vehicle. Seriously, when I said she was trying to sell a banged up Ford Fiesta, just imagine that. I don't know why she's so worried about it. It's just had 400 careful drivers. But the bull's getting ready to charge at her car again. So Jen grabs his horn, spins him around, and goes to throw him in the air. He goes up in the air, being flipped around so he's on his back. And stay with me, because if we go through frame by frame, look, he's still on his back, still on his back. Wait, what? How did that happen? Try that again, shall we? She flicks him, he goes around, up on his back, over, and then suddenly rotates in midair the wrong direction onto his front. And that is one frame. I skipped one frame where he flicked from his back onto his front. And if you're thinking, oh no, it's just because you slowed it down. Oh yeah, it doesn't look any better at full speed, trust me. There's like a definite cut and a jump there, so he's like, oh, I don't want to land on my back on the floor because it hurts. But then she immediately transforms back into Jen, and then we get this weird kind of hybrid. I guess for some reason her hair transforms back first.
What the hell is going on?
That's what I was asking.
Working through their resentments in a safe environment, Jen.
It's not what I would have called it. He even tells her at this point that, oh yeah, they live here, they were just fighting, it was all perfectly normal, and we've accidentally destroyed your car. I can't possibly imagine this being rigged in any way. The fact that she can't see that all this planned is ridiculous.
You know what? Apologize to my Prius Prime with money.
Nah, I don't think I will. Half a bag of chips do.
Absolutely apologize to your Prius if that'll make you feel better.
I don't know how you're going to do that, mate. Does a sack even come with pockets for a wallet?
He's actually taught me a lot about taking responsibility for my anger.
Shield could do with learning that, to be honest. But there's a whole thing between them that goes on for ages about how he's a bull and he's not a matador. Quite frankly, I don't care.
No, I am not a matador.
I already said I don't care, mate.
That'd make the two of us fighting pretty cliche.
Yes. Pointing out your own cliches doesn't make them funny, just so we're all aware. But they start explaining who they are, how they got their powers, what each one represents to the other one, and oh no. If anyone at home enjoyed this part of the story, then write it down on a postcard and mail it to last week when I might have cared.
Stab him in the, for being an affront to nature.
So much unnecessary backstory.
If you know that it's so much unnecessary backstory, why did you keep it in the episode? This episode's 27 minutes, the last one was 22. Why couldn't you have given us a bit of mercy again?
Can't drive this. How am I supposed to go home now?
I don't know. Maybe that was the point of doing it in the first place. How can you not understand that the murderous psychopath may have an alternative plan? Seriously.
That was nothing. You just said nothing in response to a very straightforward question.
Like most of your script, really, innit? The writers once again proving that they understand the problems with their own show. They just apparently don't know how to fix it, and so keep them in anyway and just comment about how terrible their own show is. It's an interesting choice, I'll give you that.
My name's Man Bull, not Mechanical Bull.
How long have you been waiting to say that?
Yeah, that felt very forced.
Yeah, the joke here is that the joke was bad, and then we pointed out that we wrote a bad joke, because pointing out how bad your own jokes are funny. I don't know, maybe being self-aware is a novelty for a, oh, look at us, we're holding ourselves accountable for the first time.
I think it's fantastic news that the tow truck won't get here until later today.
How much more obvious do you want him to be, dear? But she's walking around trying to get a phone signal by holding the phone slightly higher above her own head. Because, you know, if you can't get a signal here, then holding it a couple of centimeters higher in the air will definitely make it closer to the radio tower, unless she thinks her phone is directly communicating with satellites. And even if she thought that, do you want to know the easiest way to get your phone higher in the air? Turn into She-Hulk, who's 6'7". Instead, she's just going to continue walking around, holding her phone in the air. Oh, I really need a signal. Because I don't just want to think he's ignoring me. I want to know he's ignoring me. But he does have a rather interesting building in his, retreat.
In our ceremonial sweat yurt.
Yeah, I've always wanted one of them. Seriously, if you want Jen to sweat, just tell her she's got to help out someone else for once in her life, or be held accountable for her own actions.
We integrate the past and the present into one being.
You what, mate? Do you know how hot it was in the UK earlier this year? The only thing I wanted to integrate was an air conditioner with my house. Oh, it's about the past and the future. The present and the mysterious. I think Saturn's moving through Uranus. No, that's just where you're talking from, mate. But he's like, please, I brought you to the sweat yurt. Go in it. I'll pick you up in 20. And that's not suspicious at all, just how desperate he is to get her into a sweat yurt. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Pick you up in 20?
I'm not sweating it out in a yurt today.
Today? What other days have you been doing it? How often of an occurrence is this to you? No, normally I just leave my sweating for the bedroom. Sometimes the gents' toilets. It really depends whether he's just bought me any curry sauce. Definitely not gonna do it in a yurt.
I need to get some work done.
What work are you gonna do? What work do you ever do? You turn up in court in a trial scene that you can't write, and then see seem to just make up your witnesses on the spot, possibly portal them in from another dimension. It'll be fine. Doesn't really require much preparation to me.
Bit of a hard ask, I'm afraid. Down the Wi-Fi front, we don't carry it.
Oh yeah, you've come to my land, which has no phone signal, and we've destroyed your only means of escape. Yeah, I don't think there's any nefarious thing going on here. This episode really does stretch to levels of incredulity. The fact that Jen is supposed to be intelligent enough to be a lawyer. But she says, I'm going to find a signal. It's like, well, okay, looks like I can't teach you anything at the moment, so I'll just be around if you need me. And off she goes looking for a phone signal. No, I'm not joking. This is the plot. And yes, I say it every week, but no one would take me seriously if I didn't show you the plot.
I'm gonna find a signal.
At first, I put clips in to be funny. Now I'll put them in to document that I'm not losing my mind. So off we go on a wonderful montage of her walking around looking for a signal. And then they even add in this really upbeat music, because otherwise you just wonder, what on earth am I doing with my life? No, really, what am I doing with my life? Do you ever have one of those moments where you're like, I have no idea how I ended up here? Well, welcome to mine, folks. She literally walks around with no service over her face, all over the place. Seriously, she's just like the worst augmented reality game in history. Don't worry, we're not done yet. We're gonna keep going. So as she's walking along, she finds a shed. And if anyone can make any sense of this, then please feel free to let me know in the comments below. She thinks, oh, maybe the radio signals will be stronger inside the building rather than outside. She's a lawyer, not a physicist, but come on. Unless she thinks that they've got Wi-Fi and he's just been lying to her, which I think he has been lying to you, but let's face it, he'll have the brains to turn his Wi-Fi router off, you dumb little... Still got the augmented reality text, though. So she walks into the room and eventually gets 1 bar of signal. Except she's walked into a therapy session. Oh yes, Jen's about to get therapy. And seriously, after watching it twice, I might need it as well.
You remember El Aguila and Mamble?
I really wish I didn't.
This is Porcupine.
Where did you get that suit from? Primark? He's even got some spikes sticking out of it. The rest is just like grass. Then we've got this guy who's apparently a vampire in the sun. Look, most of us already think Blade's gonna be trash. What did you want to do? One-up him first?
Thinks he's a vampire.
Wow, this is quite a group.
Remarkably self-aware in this episode, actually.
You're welcome to join.
Why would anyone want to join this mess? But she's like, no, I'll pass. I'm just going to work here in the middle of your therapy session. Because she literally has no consideration for anyone else except herself. I'm sure interrupting a private therapy session, you know, it's not rude at all. But they start talking to the rest of the cast. Oh, I really explored your struggles. Seriously, you don't want me to talk about this?
People constantly assume that I am a matador. It's dehumanizing.
How? Matador's a human, you absolute...
Spanish is a language, not a nationality, so...
What?
You've never heard of Spain?
Exactly. What is going on anymore? I'm going to write a line that doesn't make sense. Then my character is going to say how that line doesn't make sense. Why?
Look, I know it's not your fault.
It's somebody's fault, and I think we need to get to the bottom of it.
Those attributes make me see you as a matador.
I can't imagine why dressing up like a matador, sounding like a matador, and acting like a matador makes you think he's a matador. Oh no. Please don't say this is an allegory. Seriously, I've got Rings of Power to do tomorrow. I can't handle any more allegory.
But that's triggering for me.
Oh, he said it. He actually said it. Why is it a problem if something triggers an emotion in you? Why is it my responsibility when it's happening inside you? And why should I care?
I did do some light matadoring in college.
What? Was it with Jimmy behind the bike shed? Seriously, what's even happening?
Oh my God, dude, what?
That's what I was saying.
Guard against codependency here.
What has that got to do with him doing some matadoring in college? But they start talking about vulnerability and how the porcupine should take his suit off and make himself feel vulnerable about everyone else. It's definitely not a pre-planned statement all designed to get She-Hulk to do it. Oh no, we couldn't do that. No nefarious plan here.
You want to take your suit off today?
Kind of lost that kind and pleasant tone to his voice, hasn't he? But then, the moment everyone didn't expect or care about, this guy walks in and the entire audience went, who?
Sorry, I'm late. I lost track of time in the yurt.
See, so he was in the yurt and Abomination was trying to get Jen to meet him in the yurt itself. That would have been fun.
No way.
No way what?
Jen, please.
He starts panicking, even though he should have no information about what's happening or their relationship. Yeah, Jen doesn't put any of this together herself. Got the mental acuity of a 2-year-old.
I was hurting for a yurt.
That guy's here?
What guy's here? I guarantee you not a single audience member knew who this guy was.
You probably don't even remember who he is.
Well, at least you told us, love, because I thought I was on my own. Look, our show is so boring. I know you don't know any of the characters that exist in it. I can't can't expect you to pay attention in my show. Look, I've watched it. I know how boring it is. We all understand. Let's do a fourth wall break and let them know.
Tell me they previously on him.
No one previously on him. Well, to be honest, I skipped it anyway because I didn't care.
I don't care.
Nor did I, love.
We're doing it again.
I've got to sit through another one. Oh.
Previously on this guy.
You've done what previously on that guy? At this point, I just assume it's everyone she's ever met, to be honest. And that's where you find out actually he was one of the guys that attacked her in the alley. You know, the guys that had some big secret boss that we never found out about and absolutely isn't going to be the Abomination in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, that guy.
I was visited by a lot of feminine energy in there.
I bet you were. You were in a sweat yurt. It was either going to be that or the ghost of you just got scammed. But the guy just goes, oh, hey, because he recognizes her. And immediately she hulks out and starts slamming him into a wall. I'm joking. She literally throws him across the room into these chairs. So he should be dead. But instead, no, somehow he's alive and she's just really angry. Hey, this guy attacked me. Yeah, and you also didn't care. You actually didn't care so much, you didn't even bother to report it to the police. But he's just like, no, I need you to sit in the calming chair because, you know, some guy attacks you in a dark alley. No big deal, we should just let it all go, it's fine. Absolutely nothing nefarious about this plan at all. Definitely something we're all going to obey here.
Well, she is welcome to the circle.
I'd love to work through our issues if you'll let me.
Why would anyone let you? Why are we working through our issues? Why is she sitting in a calming chair? None of this makes sense and none of it is what would actually happen. Oh yeah, I walked into a room and then some guy told me to sit in a chair like he was my dad for a timeout, and now I've got to sit down and talk to a guy who tried to beat me up in a dark alley. No, the only thing you do in this situation is call the police so they can arrest him. Of course, what happens? We have a therapy meeting.
Strength comes from facing yourself in the mirror and saying, hey man, I'm gonna work on me.
He's like, oh, instead I just decided to work on me. I didn't need a magic crowbar anymore. And after I got beaten up, I just all gave into it. Yes, this is entirely believable and perfectly reasonable. I can't believe we rolled up on you like we were super villains.
You absolutely were super villains.
I hear you, Jen, and I take radical accountability.
Oh, I'll be right back. I'm going to throw up. But they start telling her how she's not fine and that everyone else has shared. Could you please not just share with the group? Yes, the group led by an evil psychopath that made his two guys destroy your car. A guy who's got spikes sticking out of a grass skin and somebody else that attacked you in a dark alley. Why is any of this going on? Oh, it's meant to be funny. It's just a comedy. You shouldn't be taking it so seriously. Well, if it's a comedy, why isn't any of this funny? I thought it was bad the first time and then I didn't even really need to concentrate on it.
Anything? You want to get off your chest?
Nope.
Look at you. You are glued to that thing.
Yes, now we're going to make it all about the guy who Coyote uglied himself the next morning. This ought to be fun. He's like, well, I met a guy, Josh, and I thought it was going great. We went on a few dates. You know, it's more than I required of anyone else, but I thought this guy was the one and I wanted to make him work harder for it. Makes total sense. And they start telling her that she's needy, that she's over-attached, that she shouldn't have sent him messages, and that basically she did everything wrong. Which, ironically, for once in the show, I'm actually going to disagree with. I don't think she did anything wrong. Except obsess about the phone for the last 3 days. That is a bit weird. And of course, feeling icky about it isn't a good sign.
3 nights ago when we
Made love.
first off, ew.
And that response to that word also isn't a good sign. Red flag, everybody, red flag.
No, when we slept together for the first time.
Yeah, because phrasing it like that, like it was some kind of meaningless business transaction, makes it way better. Oh, please tell me, is that just so you could push your way through the ick feeling? No danger signs here.
Can't stop smiling? It is thirsty and a cliche.
Are we really supposed to be taking advice from a man who wears glass? There are limits to incredulity here.
You're thirsty and a cliche.
Oh god, did it take you all a week to write that comeback? But then she says, actually, just now I text him again saying, I'm getting worried, I just hope you're okay. And they're like, oh, I can't believe you text that. Seriously, still don't understand what's wrong. I mean, the worst case scenario is that he ghosted her, and if he ghosted her, then he's still not going to reply to you. So even if she does text that, nobody loses anything. What's the problem? Nobody reacts like this. Why do we have 5 men in a circle who are all reacting like middle-aged depressed wine moms who haven't had any kids? Why out of 5 people can we not have a single person who reacts like, I don't know, a man?
Why would you do that?
Why would you talk as if this is such a big deal?
Okay.
It's like a real bad look.
What I'm worried about you is a bad look, is it?
It's a bad look.
How is it a bad look? The worst case scenario is he doesn't want to talk to you, so he just won't talk to you even more. Who cares? It's not as if you've lost anything. And this is a guy whose literal first words to you were, I'm sorry. I don't know how to approach to you. I'm so nervous. I'm so terrible at this. He He hardly seems like a person who's got any self-esteem at all. He's not going to judge you for it. He's got all the backbone of a soggy towel.
I don't need you to point out my obvious mistakes. I have my mom for that.
And me. Don't forget me. Look, I'm really hoping you get renewed for a second series. I'll always be here to help out.
The very real possibility that you were ghosted.
I thought that's what we were assuming.
Or he wanted your blood.
Foreshadowing!
No, not that.
Yeah, definitely not that. Couldn't be that. That's not the only thing that would make sense in this entire scenario. But she gets really upset and depressed because people have said maybe you got ghosted. I mean, seriously, you'd think after about the 500th time you'd be used to it by now. It literally happened a couple of weeks ago. I don't know why she's so cut up about this one. Oh, made him wait. He paid such a higher price than the other ones did. He took me to eat out by the side of the road. He took me to a marketplace. And he took me to a cinema which didn't have a roof or any walls. Yeah, there's no way he would have sunk that massive cost unless he was serious. And then we just get the, oh, well, he met Jen and he liked Jen and I'm not Jen, but other people like Jen, but nobody likes Jen and this guy liked Jen and I just really wanted him to like Jen. Oh, seriously, going through it the first time was bad enough and now I've got to relive it. Why do we have to have a therapy episode? She's like, I can just be more attractive whenever I want, more confident. You'd think life would be so much easier if there was that person. Well, I can be that person whenever I want to be. But I just wanted everyone to like Jen, you know, the sad, miserable person whose only thing she can contribute to a relationship is her career. Seriously, lads, how could you possibly say no to that?
Everyone pays attention when I'm this. Like colleagues, my boss, guys. It feels like cheating because would they like me if I didn't have all of this?
No, I don't like you now. I think we proved that, didn't we? You literally had a whole swipe episode about it.
Would the same guys who like She-Hulk stick around for Jen because...
No, we had an episode about that. How long is your memory? It literally happened to you. He wanted to get with She-Hulk and then when you transform back, he ran away at speed and cried for weeks after what you'd done to him. You may have remembered, but he will never forget that trauma.
Some of them don't.
I don't think any of them did.
And that sucks.
Have you tried being honest with them for once rather than trying to trap them and hope that they'll stay afterwards? Not building these things on the strongest of foundations, are you? You know, truth.
For Jen, because Jen is great.
I'll be the judge of that one.
So, like, I meet this guy who actually likes Jen.
Yeah, and he was hot, would buy you things, was confident enough to approach you, but was also a submissive coward who was easily dominated. Basically the perfect bloke for a lunatic, but one that I'm pretty sure doesn't exist.
That just felt good to know that.
Yeah, but what you want doesn't exist.
And then he ghosts me.
That's because he didn't exist. Because the very specific type that you want is an entirely contradictory man who can't physically exist in the universe.
It sucks.
Look, there's 4 billion men on Earth. You've gone through 2 billion of them, but that still leaves 2 billion where you've got a chance. I still have hope.
All right, screw this guy. Where does he live?
Let's kill him.
Seems a little bit harsh to jump to, especially for a therapy session, which is supposed to be about good guys. Literally no hints about the nefarious purpose of this place, none at all. But they're like, Josh is an enemy of all of us, there's only one thing to do. If we cannot remove him, then you must delete his number. And like, look, maybe it's just because you're not spending enough time as Jen. We'd love to spend time with Jen. And I'm like, hang on, did you forget that she was Jen before? She's barely been She-Hulk this entire episode. She's been Jen for most of the episode. She was Jen when she walked into that room. She only turned into She-Hulk when the other guy walked in. You've been spending time with Jen. Oh, but we need to spend more time with Jen. Why don't you transform back into Jen?
Okay, Jen, do you believe that this group genuinely values the whole of you?
No, I don't believe you value any of her, apart from what you can get out of her, as in turning into a Hulk. But apparently I'm not supposed to think of that yet, even though it's the most obvious thing I can think of. And so she transforms back into Tiny Jen, just proving to them all that she does indeed trust these people. She's opened up, released her cover, knocked down her walls, and finally trusted a human in the universe. This is a great moment of growth for her. She has trusted the supervillains. And so when the supervillains inevitably betray her, and of course they are all men, at least we can truly get back to the message of the entire series about who's good and who is bad. Yeah, they just all lie to you all the time, and even when you trust them, they're still lying to you. That's the message of the piece, apparently. So then he takes his mask off, and there's a load of joke about how he smells because he's never taken it off. And this is where they're like, look, if he's not spending time on you, you shouldn't be spending time on him. So just delete his number. Yes, this is the writers not knowing how text messages work. You see, if you delete his number, then he can't text you. That's how text messages work, folks. So she deletes it, and she's really happy. Yay, I don't know his number. I can't text him anymore. Except it doesn't stop him texting her, which is what she's wanted for the entire episode and what she's been worried about. So she can still sit there and worry that he's not going to text her because he can still do that. So it's achieved nothing. I don't even know what this was.
Can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm hurting for a year.
I'm done. Whoever wrote that line, I hope you're very pleased with yourself. because no one else is. So they put her into this room, which honestly I thought was just gonna like knock her out or something, given how it looks. Especially as they're all just standing around it, staring at her, like it's gonna have any kind of effect, and they're waiting to see the results. But no, out she pops, and she looks very similar to me after I've put up with this crap. Yeah, very similar to me. Oh, we're so happy because I sweated in a tent for a bit. The enthusiasm is killing me. So after that, she's like, I'll never forget it. This was an amazing experience. Thank you for destroying my car. We made this for you. It's a card. I bet you've never seen paper before. Look, it's a blank piece of paper. We spent so much time on it.
When it says gang, it's not literal gang. They're clear to the parole board.
Yeah, I can't imagine why anyone would think you're a supervillain with a gang. Nothing happened in this episode at all about that, did it? No. So off she heads out in the tow truck because they destroyed her car, and for some reason she's not bothered about it. And she's like, oh, I'm so much more relaxed now than I was before. Now I've been through therapy. Everyone should go into a room full of lunatic murderers and just say all their feelings until they eventually delete everybody in their phone. And if you think that's the end of the episode, oh no, because it looks like it, but this is not an after credit scene. This is just a normal scene 3 days earlier. Oh yeah, do you remember this guy? The guy who ghosted her. After she forcefully pulled him into the room, in the middle of the night, he got up, cloned her phone and all the information in it, took a photo of her sleeping, because that's not creepy at all, and then texts, oh yeah, got the blood, job's a good un. Haha, he was just using her. He's really happy. Don't trust men, folks, don't trust men. Don't know if you're getting the message of the piece here, because it's so subtle. Empowerment. And this is literally something I pitched weeks ago, that all the men that were being nice to her throughout her life were actually just doing it because she was She-Hulk and they wanted something, that they all worked for that guy that we saw at the end of episode 2. It was all a big plan. And why was that story so predictable? Why was it so obvious? Because it would lead to one conclusion, that men are bad and they just want to use you for something. And actually, your life isn't your fault, it's just all those pesky men out there. All you had to do was work from the end point backwards and you end up with the plot. Congratulations. Welcome to Why Modern Entertainment Sucks. Because it's predictable. It's also why I do predictions in shows, because even if I'm wrong, I don't care, I can't predict the future. But it is good when I get them right, though, because the only thing you have to do to predict it is think, well, we're starting here, we want to end here, how do we get from one place to the next? And you end up with exactly the plot twist that they thought they were so proud of. No one will see this coming, no one will predict it, we'll leave it to the end, and then we'll turn everything on their head. You never saw that coming, did you? Well, I did. Multiple episodes ago, before that guy even appeared on the screen. But also again last week, when that guy appeared on the screen. So well done, you made a therapy episode, my idea of hell, and made an episode worse in brand new, original, and creative ways. For that, I congratulate you, because every episode you come out with a new way to horrify me, and that takes talent. Unfortunately, it's just not the same talent that's required to make good entertainment, but I still look forward to you every week, and I genuinely hope you get renewed for season 2 after this one ends. So come on, Disney, make my day. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.